Well, hello and welcome to the Bee and Rose podcast. I've got no idea which number episode it is. I don't know what date it is. I know it's Friday because tomorrow's the weekend. Not that that really makes any difference in this house apart from that the kids are off school. Yeah, I'm in Durham, I know that. My name's Faye and I'm filming in my shed at the top of the garden in Durham in the north of England, and this is where I work, and it's basically where I live as well. I spend most of my time in here. It's like my little hidey hole. When I was growing up, my dad had a shed in the garden and I hardly ever saw him, and I wonder if that's what my kids will think of me. My mum was always in the shed. Yeah, it's peaceful. There aren't people wanting things. I don't have to boil random things for people at different hours of the day when I'm in the shed pretending that I'm working. Oops, did I say that? So yeah, I love it up here and it's really pretty, and I keep moving things around. I think it's 12 by 12, so it's not very big, but I move things around all of the time to try and give myself the illusion of having more space. I think every time I move the furniture I'm like, yes, I have another inch, and miraculously the way I've got it at the minute, it did actually work like that. So yes, episode whatever, on whatever day in March 2018, it's a Friday, from the shed at the top of the garden. I've got some notes. I'm out of practice because I haven't done this for absolutely ages, and I'll tell you why a bit later. But thank you for being here. Obviously I haven't checked my YouTube channel to see how many subscribers there are. Never do that, honest. But nearly 1,000? I mean, maybe 100 less than that, and I'm kind of rounding up to the nearest 1,000, but come on, what's the difference? So I'm chuffed to bits. And I think that's pretty good going, considering I haven't done a video since about October. Unless it's just kind of everybody's joining my YouTube channel to protest and say, no, don't do any more. You can find me in various places on the internet. Instagram is b_and_rose, and it's BEA, not BEE. Facebook, Bee and Rose, and YouTube, you've already found me. Must have been Bee and Rose, I would presume. Can't even remember. It's been that long. Yeah. And hopefully this episode will go well. I have no idea how long it's going to be. The battery's already run out of my camera once, so I went to the house, half watched a film. The internet fell off the face of the planet, so I've come back up to try again. My tripod and the silver thing that's around the light bulb, which is presently reflecting off my glasses, are having a bit of a fight. So if the camera slowly starts to drift that way and I end up completely out of shot, I'll take that as a natural ending to proceedings rather than trying to kind of mediate between the two devices, because it gets a bit tiring after a while. 12 by 12 is great when you're not trying to do anything different, but when you've got like all of your normal stuff and then this great big tripod that my dad's given us for the camera, which is just massive and really heavy, even though it reckons to be made of carbon fibre, I wouldn't fancy howking that up to the top of a great big hill. It weighs a ton. And then the light, yeah, whatever. Anyway, and I'm going to have to keep drinking as well, because last night I had a really itchy throat. Have you ever had that? Like your mouth and your throat's really itchy. I don't know what was going on, but I hardly got any sleep. And when I did sleep, I woke up making weird noises, you know, when you try to scratch the inside of your mouth with your own tongue. So today, I feel a bit like I've had a hazelnut, because I've got a mild hazelnut allergy. So it would seem, apart from when they're in chocolate, they're fine. But it's the skin on them makes my mouth really irritated and really itchy. So yeah, I'm having a bit of that going on. But I do feel as though my cup needs international recognition because it's rather fabulous. So at least it gets its 5 seconds of glory. It's time to shine. That's better. I'm not going to have to do any weird stuff while I'm on camera. Right. So I'm just having a little look at my notes to know where I'm going. I'm going to be talking about my boob. I am, because lots of you have asked what's been going on. The boob isn't related to the lack of podcast episodes. That's just my dodgy shoulder. I've hardly done any knitting for months because, I'll tell you the story. Might as well. I've got a new harp. 2 of my girls and me are playing the harp. They've just done their grade 1 exam last Friday, which is quite exciting. And even though the examiner's there with them and he's the one that passes or fails them, like when you have your driving test, you still have to wait 2 to 3 weeks to get the result through the post. Can he not just open his mouth and speak the truth? Does he do some kind of reflective practice on their play. Now I don't understand. They're in and out like a factory line, you know, there's kids going in all the time for different exams, and it sounds wonderful when you sit. It's in an old church in Durham, and it's got a waiting room where you sit and a warm-up room where you can get everything tuned up and have a bit of practice, and it sounds lovely when you're sitting there because you can hear all this tinkling going on. But yeah, 2 to 3 weeks, so there's still quite a while to wait until the results come out. But anyway, whoa, what am I talking about? Yeah, so we got the harp. It's quite heavy, it's quite tall, and I just was sitting on the settee in a bad position with it resting on my shoulder, and I think that is what caused the initial damage, you know, in my, you know, my Inspector Gadget kind of way of trying to figure out what on earth went on, because it was quite achy and I ignored it. And then I did lots of car-based knitting because it was the summer. It was a while ago, wasn't it? We went all over up to Bamburgh and whatever, and I was knitting socks on tiny needles. Oh, they used to be behind me, I've moved them. Never mind. Yeah, and it never really recovered from that, and it's progressively gotten worse. So now I can do about a line of knitting, and then either an hour or so later or the next day it's really, really sore. And I just, whatever. I mean, I'm sad that I haven't been able to do knitting because I love it, and I love creating things, and I love making the fabric and working with the colours. However, because I am a bit obsessive when I get a hobby or an interest, and because I like to really go for it, it's given me the time to do other things. So I've made lots of bags, I've made lots of clothes, I've got involved with different projects. So I am disappointed when I see things that I want to do. I feel disappointed because I can't do them. And when I see my lovely beautiful knitting needles sticking out of a lovely knitting bag and they look so gorgeous, and you know how smooth and cold they always are, I do feel a bit sad that I can't pick them up and make some stitches. However, I retreat to the shed, to my introverted life of living basically in a cave, and I just sew things or hammer stuff. So it's all good, really. Yeah, that's it. The sewing isn't as family orientated as the knitting, because you can't take your sewing machine in the car. For a start, there's not room for a table, and I don't know if a cigarette lighter would be enough to power a Janome 6600P. So hence we have a problem with portability, where the knitting is great. And I find as well that I spend a lot of time looking at my phone because I'm not knitting, and no matter where I go now, I've got to have my telephone. I'm properly addicted. I've always criticised Mark for just sitting like this all the time, and now it's me, and I kind of understand why. Maybe he needs to learn how to knit. He just reads The Guardian and reads really like snarky comments all the time. Anyway, it's quite funny. So that's the shoulder, and I know a lot of you are asked how I am with my boob. I found a lump again months ago, went to the doctor, got referred to the hospital. All happens very quickly. There's a 2-week turnaround time. That's classed as an urgent appointment in your 2 weeks. So at the end of the 2-week period, you get to see the people you need to see. Had a mammogram, had a sonogram. There's obviously a problem. Went for a needle aspiration, which is a very easy biopsy really. They take some fluid out of whatever's in your boob. That was inconclusive. Had a core biopsy, which was a lot more intense, though obviously an entire existence more pleasant than cancer. So no, it wasn't very nice, but it was a necessary thing. That didn't give them any results. So after that, I went in to have an excision, wire-guided excision biopsy, which an excision biopsy is where you go for a sonogram, they place a wire into your boob where the problem area is, and the surgeon cuts you, makes an incision, goes in to find out where the guide wire is, and removes the tissue around the guide wire. And while you're on the table, they sometimes send it off to pathology to see if you've got anything that needs to be taken out. If there's any cancer there, then they can just do whatever they need to do at that present moment in time. But there was no cancer. Anyway, they did that, stitched me up. I got an infection. Probably started on the Wednesday after the op, so the op was the 5th of Feb, the infection started on the 7th, and as happens with this kind of stuff, I just left it for ages before I went to see the doctor, because I convinced myself, oh, it's a normal part of healing to have a bright red Belisha beacon boob, it's fine. I mean, it's hotter than the sun, but it's fine. It really hurts, it's fine. So eventually I went to the doctor and he was like, what are you playing at? What are you playing at? Just, you know, how are you? 4 different kinds of antibiotics later, which was ridiculous. Went to see the surgeon, who really didn't care. The wound had burst open, it was all grotesque, had a huge cavity on my boob. Oh, so eventually I just thought, right, sod this for a lark. Went to see the practice nurse, she packed it, and now it's getting better. So I've been going to the surgery every day to have the packing replaced. The cavity was, when it started, at least 5 centimetres, but now it's probably about 1.5 centimetres, so it's so much better. But I've got to keep going until it's like a wound that gapes open and then, oh God, I'm sorry, yeah, whatever, it's life, isn't it? And then like a big borehole basically. And that's what they're packing with this silver lined packing stuff, and it's just marvellous. There's absolutely no pain, it does not hurt at all, it's not sore in the slightest, there's no infection, so it's fine, and it is just amazing. I can't tell you. The wound initially just was kind of a big V in between where they'd made the incision. It had pulled apart and it was gaping, but that V's closed up now. There's scar tissue in between it, but it's like, how does that even happen? I couldn't get my head around how it would nip together. I thought it would fill on the surface, but it's actually, it's really quite spangly. It's brilliant. I'm dead excited by it. I'm always going to have a scar, but c'est la vie. It's fine. It doesn't really matter, does it? I haven't got cancer. It could be a heck of a lot worse. I can say that now, but when I was in the midst of an infection and feeling horrific and thinking, is this going to kill me? I wasn't, you know, I wasn't that kind of blasé about it. It has been horrible. I lost the entirety of February to this horribleness. I've reevaluated my Christmas card list as well, because I've seen one friend since the 5th of Feb and I think that's about it. So yeah, there was one day I had to go in to see a surgeon to decide what to do about whether to pack it or not, randomly. And I passed my friend Sandra in the corridor and she was going in for a double mastectomy. Yeah, that helped me put it in perspective. And everybody was telling me, it'll be fine, it will heal. And I was like, no, it won't. It's a chasm of doom. But it has. Fine. So, after talking about the boob of doom, I guess I need to move on to some nitty natter, don't I? And like I say, there's not much been going on because of my shoulder. But what I have done is this. It's bloody lovely. This is the Linus shawl. Can't remember who the pattern's by, but it's on Ravelry. I will do a link with all the relevant bits in it. And I mean, this is all I've done since Christmas. If you've watched other podcasts or you see me on Instagram, you know that my productivity is quite high. So for this to be all I've done since Christmas is just astounding, really. Nice though, eh? Quality, not quantity, and all that jazz. I'm using a skein of stuff, Stellina merino nylon that I got from Ring of Rosie and Whitney Bay before Christmas. Went in with Mark, bought lots of things, pretending that it was like from him, even though I was buying it. At least then you get what you want, eh? And I do have quite specific tastes, so I think he knows that it is for the best. I think I should remove that knitting needle. So the Linus shawl on my miraculously bendy springy needle. Paid a fortune for these and they're just ridiculous. I think it was about 14 quid for a set of knitting needles just because they look dead pretty. But actually, practicality, I think it was definitely form over function, because they can't hold anything. Maybe if you were knitting some kind of lace gansey that weighed about 2 grams it would be fine, but howie, the other one snapped, as is part of the course. So I'm using odd needles, which I never ever do, which is completely out of character for me. I'm far too OCD for that. I like everything to match, or I get a bit twitchy. So this one, this random one, and then a Brittany Birch, which I love. And I thought that if I did this shawl on larger needles, then, ooh, just pulling my balls up, then I wouldn't have to have such, you know, arms would be hunched and I'd have more space for the knitting. Oh no, look, I've got sidetracked. I'm going to have to do some knitting now. Just hang on a minute while I count. Not really. Yeah, I've got off onto a knitter's days. Wait, I just pulled myself out of it. What was I talking about? I can't remember. Oh yeah, I thought if I used the long needles then I would have less shoulder pain, but honestly it doesn't make any difference. I've kind of tried everything. I think I just need to give up and move on, chalk it down to experience. If I enjoy doing something, it inevitably comes to an end. When I was a kid I used to play the cornet in a brass band and I was really good at it, but then I had this dodgy ear thing go on. I had what's called a mastoidectomy, where they clear out the mastoid bone behind your ear, and I also had some of the little bones removed from the ear canal where they found a growth. Happy days. It's all about the bodily things today, isn't it? And then after that, my mother had this idea that maybe I shouldn't blow the cornet anymore in case the pressure built up in my ears, and the doctor was like, oh yeah, possibly, that's a thing. So I didn't play the cornet anymore, which was ridiculous. And I couldn't go swimming. I used to love going swimming. Yeah, so there you go, it's all just been taken away from me. It's so unfair. I might have to cry into my unfinished knitting. So yes, liner shawl. Look at that, I've got halfway through a row. I'll pay for it tomorrow, I'll be in pain. So using Ring of Rosie yarn, bought from my shop in Whitley Bay, which is fantastic. If you live nearby, there's no excuse not to go. Get there right now before she shuts. Or if you're ever passing through the northeast for whatever reason, discovering the castles of Northumberland perchance, or on your way to Edinburgh Yarn Festival, stop off at Ring of Rosie and you will not be disappointed. It's really just fantastic. She's got some wonderful high-end yarns, and then she's got Stylecraft, so there's everything in between as well. It's really it's brilliant, and you can go and have a paddle in the sea as well if the weather's nice. Not that that ever happens. I need to finish my row. Sorry, I'm gonna have to edit this. See, this is the problem. But the plan is, when I finish this, if you watch Hedgerow Yarn's pictures on Instagram, she likes to knit a good old liner shawl, and then she puts a border on in like a neutral coloured yarn with holes in, so basically yarn overs. So the plan is that if ever I can finish this, I will finish it off, then I will have a lovely border on it, because that would be very nice. And I nearly said there as a present for me mum, which is really weird considering she died 8 years ago. I don't think she'll get much wear out of a shawl, do you? She's actually in a pot on the windowsill in the living room. Strange, isn't it, how your brain works sometimes? And while we were there, I also did purchase these, and prices are very reasonable, you know. It's not very expensive, the stuff that she hand dyes. So there's a little set called Stargazer that's got 3 mini skeins in. Ooh, I'm all about the minis at the minute, and just some really beautiful kind of tweedy colours that work so well together, that I thought would simply make something gorgeous just by randomly blending them together to graduate into a shawl or a scarf. Again, if you see Hedgerow Yarn, she did a crochet scarf recently with a graduated colourway, which looks stunning. That could be quite nice, couldn't it? So that's where it's at with the knitting. I've done absolutely nothing else, just going to pick up my balls. Excuse me. Other than disappointing socks, I waffled on my Instagram feed a while ago about all high drama. I'm never knitting socks again from hand dyed yarn, and I'm kind of sticking to that because it's a lot of money. I don't want to say it's expensive, because I think expensive is a bit of a derogatory term. It costs a lot of money. If you're paying 24 quid for a skein of yarn, that is a lot compared to commercially produced yarn. It's a lot more. And then I found that the highly speckled yarn, particularly if it's got a lot of red in it, the minute you wash it, it just bleeds and looks terrible, and it's such a waste of time. Shawls, scarves, maybe not clothes. I don't know if I would do that with hand dyed yarn again. Just to avoid disappointment and to avoid financial ruin, basically. I'm not going to do it anymore. However, I do have some that I prepared earlier to show you, which are rather lovely. I started doing this one, but I'm going to not finish it off. I'm going to pull it out and use it as a scarf just in case, because if that bleeds I will be really disappointed. It's absolutely stunning. I bought that online and I don't want it to go to waste. And then I did these before Christmas. Well, like I say, I missed the whole of February due to boob issues. So it's like as if Christmas was just a minute away really for me. And it's this pattern. Can't remember what it's called or who made it, so I'll have to put it in the notes. Sorry. Fail day. Lovely though, isn't it? I think it's like little Christmas trees. It was quite popular around Christmas time. And I've done twisted rib, then the pattern. I've done this one quite long with a green toe, ready for an afterthought heel. However, in my infinite wisdom, I made this one really short, and I can't for the life of me remember why. Maybe I made them for a child and then just forgot. But it, you know, it's not even heel length that for me with my size 9 clodhoppers. It's just, there's no chance. So yeah, they'll probably never ever be finished. They'll just go into the naughty corner. And I've got a half of a pair. I don't know where the other one is. This is something I dye called Bad Santa. It's been through the wash a few times. And then the West Yorkshire Spinners ones that I did before Christmas in the candy cane colourway. But I'm really grasping at straws to fill up my content, aren't I? I won't go any further back than just before Christmas though, I promise. And these look great when they were first done, and they fluffed off a bit in the wash. I know a lot of people were concerned because the yarn seemed really thin. But it's done the job. They're canny. There's no holes in them. I think they'll last a long time. And they're only this funny grey colour because they've been in the wash a million times, probably with black jeans. Mark is the washing boss, and I'm not going to take that job away from him, but I will complain continually that he's really bad at it. But never mind, they're fine. And a note to myself and to everybody else, never, ever, ever knit socks using yarn that doesn't have nylon in it. Even if somebody tells you that they are breeding, I don't know, platinum wooled fleeced sheep, just don't do it. It's a complete waste of time. You need nylon in your socks, otherwise they're going to drop to bits, unless you never wear them. Admittedly, I'll put a pair on and leave it on for a week. I just let my feet breathe at bedtime. I can't stand the feeling of having socks on in bed. I'm scared that my feet are going to drop off. Yeah. So, complete waste of time, complete waste of money. I'm so disappointed. Do not buy wool without nylon for socks. I'm sure lots of people are wanting to contradict me on that, but I think I am right. Here is the evidence. Do not do it, people. Unless you're not going to wear them very often, or you never wear them with shoes. So yeah, that's my sock fail bit done and dusted. Oh, something else. I got this for Christmas, which obviously for me is now a complete waste of time because I can't knit. But I like to look at it. It's lovely. I think I saw it on Isola's Instagram page. I thought, oh yeah, come on then Santa, drop that down the chimney, mister. And he did, funnily enough. It was £20, so it wasn't cheap. But it's made by the Shetland Guild of Spinners, Knitters, Weavers and Dyers. And I imagine that a lot of the proceeds will go straight to them, which is a good thing. And I love the way on the side of the book you've got like all the graph paper, the lines and stuff. It's really nice. It is lovely. And I just look at it and feel sad because I can't knit it. And that's the knitty part over and done with. So if you don't sew, or if you don't want to hear me ramble on anymore, we might as well say goodbye, farewell, auf Wiedersehen right now. I bought this Tilly and the Buttons book, although it went against my better judgment because they don't go up to very big sizes. However, there was a lot of stuff in it that I thought would be useful for me for the kids. It comes with 6 patterns, which are all in its lovely little pouch at the back. And what I do, I don't cut the patterns out, I use a tracing wheel. So, oh, I can't find anything. So I would put my fabric on the table with a sheet of carbon paper, ta-da, on the top of it, and then the pattern on the top of that, right side up, and just trace around it with a tracing wheel. I got a bit sick of doing that though because I wanted to make more than one thing per child from the same pattern, so I've traced it onto paper and actually cut it out, so I haven't had to touch the patterns in here, and I can make any alterations that I want to just using a pen before I cut it out with paper. So I've basically duplicated the patterns that are in the back by tracing them onto paper. I can then cut them out and use them for every child, and so far I've made, I'll have to go and get it, I've made a hoodie for B, which was so easy, it was ridiculous. And I've made it out with stretch fleece. There, Stella hoodie and joggers. I've made it a hoodie in purple, I'll show you in a minute. And I've cut out, again, which was really easy to cut out, and I can see the shapings are just going to be lovely. I've cut this out in some silver velvet, which is super. So I can't wait to sew that up, but you need some clear elastic and I haven't got any, so there's a problem. I'm just going to pause it while I get them to show you. There's the tracing wheel, look. So you just run it along the top of the carbon paper and it imprints the whatever on your paper and just cut out. So this is the hoodie that I've made for B. It's just going to look like a massive purple, isn't it? I can't really show you, but it's great. You're meant to put buttonholes in here, but I've lost the buttonhole thing off my sewing machine, so I just left gaps to thread a threader through. Being a bit useless for that. It looked great on her though, it's really nice. And she gives you tips about how to do your top stitching in a zigzag when you're using a stretchy fabric. Because I've never sewn with stretch before. Really nice finishes. So you've got the little cuffs on the end. And the pattern was really easy, the instructions were brilliant, and I think from start to finish, including cutting the pattern out, this probably took me about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours tops. And that's from a pattern that I've never seen before, never looked at. It's got a really professional finish. It's brilliant actually. I don't want to fault it because I think it is really, really good. So yeah, super, love it. It looks really lovely on as well. And obviously it would have been great if I could have used the right overlocker thread. However, oh, I'll tell you about my overlocker. Can you see? No, because I've got the screws tied really tight. Hang on. I'm going to take you on a magical tour. Are you ready? I bought this little monkey here from Lidl's. My overlocker was my mum's old overlocker, which was a Ricard, which is a very good make. But it was old and tired and it had enough. And I didn't have many pennies in the bank, and I saw that Lidl's were having the sewing palaver on again, so I thought, alright, I'm going to get me over there. I think it was £129, and honestly it's great, so far. There's so many mixed reviews out there about it, but I haven't come into any problems yet, and I'm a seasoned sewist, so I kind of know what to look for and I know what I'm doing. But it's fine. It's fine. I think this, oh, you don't want to do that, Faye. The sweatshirt for the hoodie was probably as much as I could push it, you know, like the 2 to 4 layers where you've got the seams turned over. Yeah, I wouldn't like to do anything more than that. I was going to say denim, but it's a completely different kind of feel to the fabric, so it's probably going to be fine. But you know, £129, you can't expect it to be able to make yacht sales. It's not going to do that. It's only going to do light domestic work. But as of yet, it hasn't unthreaded, and the stitch, the quality of the stitching is really good. I think it's a nice size, a nice shape, and it's really. So I would recommend it for now through gritted teeth, because I haven't used it that much. I made a couple of bags, a couple of carriers, and a hoodie. Oh, and I've done all my tops as well, and I've made 3 tops. So my other one is just would be unthreaded about 1,000,000 times by now. So I'm pleased with it. It's just nice to have something that actually works. You know, when you can just switch something on and use it, it's just better, isn't it, than having to faff for ages trying to figure out what the heck's going on. It kind of puts you off, makes you not want to do it anymore. So yes, I think this is brilliant if you fit the patterns that are in it, but I have 3 kids who fit the patterns that are in it, so I'm quite happy with it really. I think it's smashing, and I just love her style. And do you know that she was on the first ever Sewing Bee? I think she won it, so good on her. She's obviously got a good head for business, and she's capitalised on her success, and I think it's just marvellous. Yes, I would recommend that. Go buy it, go on, it's fab. And then for me, for patterns that do go to a bigger size, I've fallen in love with Cashmerette, or Cashmerette, I don't know how you say it. It's an American company, independent designer, but luckily they sell the patterns online as PDFs. I say luckily, it takes like so long to cut all the bits out and stick them together. However, it's worth it. I'm currently wearing what's called the Montrose top, which is a pattern of theirs. I don't know if you can see it. I've made, this is the second one. The first one I did, the neck was massive, and it was too tight and the darts were in the wrong place. So when I did this one, which is from an old curtain, I didn't adjust the neck. I adjusted the darts, but on this one I put them in a little bit too low, and I made it a lot wider as well, and it was too wide. So you might think that sounds a bit daunting if you've not really done any garment sewing before, but I can tell you, honestly, it's just brilliant. The patterns are fantastic. Although I like a good video tutorial, the written tutorials that Cashmerette have got for making adjustments to the pattern are brilliant. So with this gaping neck, on this one I've just put pleats in because I'd already stitched it up and I didn't want to take it apart again. I'd overlocked it and that was just like one step beyond. So she shows you really easy how you do it. You just kind of draw a line from the dart to the neck. It's all online, you can find it all, and it's all free to look at. I'm not giving away any secret saucy secrets. To get rid of the gape. Whereas in the past I would have been, well, what am I going to do other than put pleats in? I don't know. So she tells you how to do these things. And moving the dart was just really, you know, it was kind of obvious. It's not a difficult thing to do. You just move the dart, but she shows you how to do it. You draw a box around it and you cut it and you move it up and down. It's fantastic. And I also had to lengthen the body because this top is quite short, so I added 8 inches to the length to make it more of a tunic length. And I also added a couple of inches in the body part, like under the bust, because I'm nearly 5'10", and I think the pattern was made for somebody considerably shorter. But it's fantastic and I love this fabric. This was bark cloth curtain that I bought from eBay a while ago. And then after I'd done this one, so this was the second one that I made based on the toile that I made out of a tablecloth. So I'll show you the third one. I'll put it on now and you can hopefully see the difference in the fit. So, so this one, see if I can zoom in a bit whilst changing the position. You can see the neck just naturally fits because I did the gaping neck adjustment, and when you adjust the neck it's also pulled the shoulders more onto my shoulders instead of being on the top of my arms. And the dart is like here, so I need to move it down a little bit. Whoops. Yeah, I need to move it down a little bit, and all in all I think the other top's my favourite one. This again is made from an old curtain, but excuse me, but it's just cotton. It's not bark cloth like what the other one is, so it's not as soft. And I do think it definitely gives you more of a boxy look and a boxy feel when you don't use soft fabric. And I just realised after I cut it out that the pattern's not symmetrical. So you've got like these liney bits here and then these like moustachey bits here. What's that all about? But at least my sleeves match the way. It's like a Tashtober, whatever it's called. So I have worn this out in public once, but it's not my favourite. I like the other one a bit more. But it's hit and miss whether you can get bark cloth off eBay. And have you seen the Outback wife sell like new bark cloth? But I think it's worth it if you've got a pattern that you love, and I do love this, and I would make it again from something more expensive. It's about 30 quid a metre, I think. It's quite a lot. Oh, it's gorgeous. At starting, I'm going to show you the toile that I made so you can see the difference making adjustments makes to the fit. You don't have to have clothes that don't fit your body. You've just got to watch some online tutorials and change the patterns. Well, she goes up to a US size 28, which is a UK size 30. So it's pretty inclusive. Obviously there are some people it's not going to fit, and that's a bit of a nightmare, but they're easy to size up. It's not like knitting where you've got to be a mathematical genius to do it. It's a lot easier when it comes to sewing. And also what I like about Cashmerette is representation. Excuse me. Some patterns you find they'll say, yeah, we go up to a UK size 36 or whatever, but there are no large bodies represented by the pattern making companies. They're all white, slim women. There's no diversity whatsoever at all. In fact, another thing I like about Cashmerette is the representation of larger bodies. When I first looked through their Instagram page and their Facebook page, I was like, oh no, they go up to a size 30, but really they don't want people to make that size because there are no ladies that big portrayed in their social media. Actually, that's not true. She did, the lady, I can't remember her name, sorry, fabulous, wonderful, clever woman who is very, very good at giving excellent instruction, has links to 3 plus size vloggers, one called Fat Girl Flo, who is amazing. I can't remember who the others are. One of them who's not very big, and another one who's a bit bigger but still not as big as me. So when I buy anything, I look for representation of people who are like me. Otherwise, I don't feel like that's for me. And in the sewing world, this is another reason why I'm doing this, talking about sewing as well as everything else. I've looked for plus size sewing vloggers and I get absolutely nout. There are loads of sewing vloggers out there, but even in their recommended lists of other people who are sewing, there was no diversity. In one of them, I can't remember, well, even if I could remember, I'm not going to say it. She had a big list of people that she followed and they were all skinny white women. There was nothing else. There was nobody there who was even vaguely representative of any kind of normal population, even a northeastern population. You know, it was just really quite disappointing. And I know that for a lot of people, you don't look for that. If you are slim, your bag, if you're not interested, then you're not gonna, you might not pick it up on your radar, but for me it's very important. And I think all women need to be represented. Yes, I did look and I was pleased, and there is representation there, whereas with the big four you get none of that. And I think a lot of the times with sewn patterns, they can say they're in a plus size, however all they do is by mechanical rote they have a pattern that say fits a size 8 and they just scale it up and scale it up, and it doesn't work. And it just, I think instead of, you know, feeling bad about your body or feeling as if you don't fit the pattern, it's actually the fact that they've just made no effort whatsoever, and that everybody is absolutely unique and different, and that is not represented whatsoever. Anyway, I'll put the first one on so you can see the difference. So look at this neckline here. Oof. It fits really well, there's no gape. Oops, tuck your facing in. It's perfect, I love it. It fits so nicely. I'll show you the first one that I made. Ooh. So this is the first one. Camera's not in an ideal position, is it? Can you see all the extra fabric in the neckline that I needed to get rid of? And it was so easy. It literally, I love this colour, so I will put some pleats in the colour of this one so that I can actually wear it. But I've got to pull it right back. The sleeves are right down here, which isn't where they should be. So yeah, it was really simple, 2-minute thing. Completely changed the pattern, changed the neckline, changed where the shoulders are. It made the darts bigger. On this one the darts are really high. They're like at the top of my boobs, not in the middle of them. They should be pointing to the apex, also known as the nip. Yeah, so they should be pointing to your nipple, not like just randomly pointing at your pits. So yeah, excellent, excellent. I really can't wait to make more. I did have a go at doing a Harrison dress at one point, but I sacked it off and put it in the naughty corner because I couldn't figure out what I was doing. But given a bit more time, I think I was in a hurry, and if I'd taken a bit more time it would have been fine. But I am definitely going to make more of these, and I'm going to make modifications as well so that they don't all look the same. I bought 3 lots of chiffon, which should be fun. I've never sewn with chiffon before, so might be some hand finishing involved, or it might just look crap. Who knows, eh? I'll give it a try. So there you go, but I love this colour. It's just, I will fix that. I'll put a couple of pleats in. No one will ever know the difference. And also I did the facing wrong, but I can sort that out easily enough. So why, apart from the obvious that you can't buy big clothes in shops, why am I making my clothes, and why am I making clothes for the kids? Well, other than the sizing issue and the lack of representation of larger size women and fat phobia, skinny kind of worshipping, and just general prejudice, marginalisation, oppression, stress, and all of those things that come with living in a larger body, which I shall talk about at length in another episode if you would like. It's ethics and just being kind of a person who has morals and who cares about other people. When I would go around the corner, there's loads of big shops that have opened up around the corner, and Sylvie's like, oh, I love this, and I'm thinking, yeah, love it all you want, love, I'm not buying it. Not when it's been made by the blood and sweat of somebody who gets paid maybe $2 a week, who lives in a slum, who has to leave her children behind with somebody else so that she can go to work. It's not going to happen. I'm not getting into that game. 4 years now. It was on the 24th of April 2013 when the Rana Plaza collapse in place near Dhaka in Bangladesh, where I think it was about 1,300 people were killed and 38 people were charged with murder for that. They're just people rammed into a business trying to feed the capitalist industry that is the clothing market in the EU and in North America, just trying to produce things cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And when you're working at such tight margins, the only place that you can skim off money is the wages that you give to people, and they get next to nothing. And these people aren't protected by any kind of unions, they have no representation, they work completely alone, they're nearly always women, and it's just desperately, it's grotesque so badly. The people have to live this terrible existence for it, and it's not that we can't utilise the services that are available in Bangladesh or in India or wherever, but we need to pay them more than what they're getting. We can afford to pay more for our clothes, we just need to buy less. You know, it's a really affluent country that we live in. I know there are a lot of people here who live in poverty, and there are a lot of women who work in poverty, who do piecework for big companies, who get paid next to nothing. My mother did it. She made rosettes for horse races. I think she got paid a penny for everyone that she did. This was in the 90s. And there'll still be people out there doing that now. We know it exists. It's not visible, but it doesn't mean it's not there. It's like the people just died of terrible diseases through the use of chemicals to grow cotton faster, to feed the kind of production of cheap disposable clothing that's killing so many people every year. I can't do it. I can't be part of that. So yes, I will make our clothes, and hopefully the girls will learn from me, and I'll teach them at a young age how to make their own clothes and how to have a sense of conscience when it comes to shopping. It is difficult to know where the fabric you buy has been produced. That is going to be quite hard. But then once you've overcome that hurdle, it's not, now it's difficult, is it really? We've got the internet, you know, we've got education, we're not stupid, we can ask the right questions to the right people at the right time, quite simply, and not oppress other people. If they were paid better, you know, but when they kind of rally to be paid better, what happens is the factories just lock the doors, bring other people in, and these people then have nothing. They don't get paid at all. Or in one instance there was a rally about better wages for the workers and better conditions, so they don't have to work somewhere like the Rana Plaza that collapsed, and it was Cambodia, open gunfire, people were shot because they wanted a tiny bit more. And you've got these people at the head of these massive international organisations who are worth billions of pounds. That's it, that's why, basically. Don't know how long this will be after I've edited it, but it's taken all day given that the battery on the camera keeps running out. He's wishing you well, and I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. Not very knitting heavy, but then again, like I say, I ain't doing much knitting, so I don't know when I'll be back. Probably a couple of weeks time when I've got more sewy things to show you. I've got some more Montrose tops to make. I've got orders from the kids for at least another 2 hoodies and 3 dresses to do, and I'm looking for a denim skirt for Sylvie. She's a UK adult size 10 and she wants a kind of a panelled denim skirt. They had loads around the corner, but no, I'm not going to buy them. Right, so next time I see you I should have lots of things to show you. Ooh! So, in lieu of knitting, I have been doing a lot of sewing. I've revamped my business, Uppertie, which is basically where I make baby carriers. I've expanded that and now I make bags as well. And it's really good fun. I've learnt loads more skills through sewing the bags. It's just amazing the stuff that you pick up. And here's one of them. This is called a Brooklyn. It's not finished yet. I'm using leather, real leather. There's bits to go on here. And wrap fabric, which is baby wearing fabric basically, and then just cotton for the lining. They've got like internal zippers and all sorts of stuff. And a lovely lady did ask me about the interfacing that I use when I make bags. I haven't got another one there with a saw. I'll just find my notes, excuse me. Right, so what they recommend for the bags is La 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 la. Pellin Shape Flex SF101, and instead of that, because I can't find the Pellin and because it's really expensive, what I'm using is something from eBay, fusible woven interfacing. It's still £3.70 a metre, so it's quite expensive, and it's 90 centimetres wide, and you need like 3 metres or something for a bag. You need loads because you've got to interface every single part of your bag. Fabrics by Maggie on eBay. She charges a lot for postage though, so I want to find someone else. Fusible fleece. Fusible fleece is quite expensive, so what I do is I buy one, you know, the stuff that you make quilts out of, and I'll either use spray glue to spray it onto the fabric, or I'll put the wadding on the fabric and then I'll do a backing of fusible woven interfacing so that it's kind of stuck where it needs to be. And also to get the shape in the bags you use foam. Now that is very expensive. What they recommend you use is Pellin Shape Flex. No, that's wrong. Pellin Flex Foam FF77, and it's really thick and it's really good. But a hack for that is to use scrim, which is what they use when they're shaping the seats in cars and things. And you can buy that on the internet. Let's see if I can see it. Yeah, DIY foam upholstery supplies, 3mm bag making scrim, 54 inches wide. It's £4.99 a metre and £2.99 postage, so it's still pretty pricey, but the actual iron-on foam is, oh, it's a lot of money. Something like £13 a metre or something. It is a lot. It's too much when you look at what you can charge in the UK market for a bag compared to the price of the bits and bobs that go with it.